Hello, this is the Daily Forex Report for August 12th. We are looking at the U.S.-Japanese yen pair. This pair closed up, still moving sideways overall. Looking for it to continue moving sideways. Look for it to potentially go as high as 86.39, possibly as low as 84.33. Look for some resistance around 86.15, and look for some support around 84.90. Now let's take a look at the Euro-USD pair. This pair closed down, did have a decent movement overall, small body though. Look for this pair to continue moving to the downside. Look for it to potentially hit some resistance if it moves higher at 129.35, possibly hitting some support to the downside at 127.25. Now the pound US dollar pair, it closed lower during today's session as well. We're looking for it to continue moving to the downside. Look for it to potentially go as high as 157.94, possibly as low as 154.68. Look for some resistance around 157.15, and look for some support around 155.42. Okay, now the Swiss. The U.S. Swiss had a pretty large day, broke to the upside, basically ran into some previous resistance and then moved lower, significantly lower, back down into this sideways range it's been moving. Look for this pair to continue moving sideways, potentially going as high as 1.0694, possibly as low as 1.0402. Look for some resistance around 1.0550, and look for some support around 1.0455. Now, as far as news announcements go, we have the Eurozone releasing their gross domestic product at 5 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow for the second quarter. Consensus on that is that it has moved higher from 0.2% to 0.7% for the second quarter. Year to date, they're showing an increase from 0.6% to 1.4%, which could be good news for the euro. We also had the U.S. releasing their advanced retail sales for July at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. Consensus on that is that things have improved from a negative 0.5% to a positive 0.5%. So overall, a good news for retail sales for the U.S. dollar. If it comes out better than that, we could actually see the U.S. dollar strengthen. As far as what I'm looking for during this next session, we have the euro. Basically, I'm looking for it to retrace this downturn that it occurs, especially if we get good news tomorrow and the euro gets less than good news. Basically, looking for a break above the high of today's session, buying in at that point, and looking for it to go down to this area of previous support that we have. Basically, it's about, if you take a look at the actual amount of pips, about 142. You can go ahead and put your stop loss at about 115, which is the low so far during today's session. Definitely below the close of today, about 100 pips. So the risk to reward is a little bit better than 1-to-1, and basically looking for this retracement to occur. Not a guarantee that it will, but nonetheless, depending on how the news announcement comes out, if we get good news in the U.S., bad news in the euro, it's going to continue to move lower. If we get if the euro news is stronger and the U.S. is a little bit weaker, we could see this come on around and move higher up to this point. So take a look at the gross domestic product and the advanced retail sales tomorrow, and that could determine this play. Remember that the U.S. Advanced retail sales is one of the top 5 largest news announcements that occurs, so that can really play into how the market moves. Well, that about does it for today. Until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.